Imagine walking into a modern tattoo parlor. You hear the soft hum of an electric needle, smelling sterile alcohol and antiseptic soap. The artist wears nitrile gloves, wipes your skin with antibacterial spray, and plays smooth, lo-fi music in the background. Now, rewind 30,000 years into the pitch-black recess of a Paleolithic cave. Your ancestor Grok sits shivering by a flickering hearth. Another hominid kneels beside him, holding a sharp spike carved from a bird bone and a shell filled with wood soot mixed with animal fat. No disinfected needles, no antibiotics, no rubber gloves. Just a sharp bone repeatedly pounding carbon directly into raw skin. Outside the cave, millions of lethal bacteria wait. In a world before penicillin, a single microscopic scratch could spark gangrene or a fatal blood infection. And yet, Grok sits there, gritting his teeth, voluntarily enduring hours of agony to inject soot into his flesh. Why on earth would early humans intentionally mutilate their skin, risk deadly infections, and gamble with survival just to get the world's first tattoos? If even one of your direct ancestors had succumbed to a fatal infection from a botched Stone Age tattoo, you wouldn't be here today. Yet, across every inhabited continent, ancient humans independently invented the exact same painful, dangerous ritual. This was not a primitive fad. It was one of the most brilliant, high-stakes evolutionary survival strategies ever devised. To understand why our ancestors risked their lives for body art, we have to look at the bizarre biology of the human immune system. Why does a tattoo stay in your skin for decades instead of washing away as cells regenerate? The answer is a microscopic battle inside your body. When soot enters the dermis, your immune system freaks out. Billions of specialized white blood cells called macrophages rush to the wound like cellular paramedics to swallow the invading particles. Here is the twist. Charcoal soot particles are far too large for a macrophage to digest. The cell gulps down the soot, cannot break it down, and dies right there in the tissue. Instantly, a new wave of hungry macrophages rushes in to swallow the dead cell, inheriting the soot particle. Your tattoo is not just ink under your skin. It is literally a permanent, living graveyard of immune cells endlessly devouring each other to trap foreign dust in place. In the prehistoric wilderness, getting a tattoo was the ultimate biological flex. Surviving the massive influx of soot and bacteria proved to everyone around the campfire that you possessed a god-tier immune system. It was evolutionary peacocking, an unmistakable message to mates and rivals. My body is so tough, I can absorb poison into my skin, laugh at infection, and still wake up tomorrow to hunt a mammoth. If you survived the needle, you were an apex survivor. For centuries, historians assumed ancient tattoos were purely decorative. But in 1991, two hikers in the Alps stumbled upon a discovery that shattered everything we knew about ancient medicine. Preserved inside a glacier for 5,300 years was the frozen body of Ötzi the Iceman. When scientists inspected his torso under multispectral light, they were stunned to find 61 distinct tattoos scattered across his body. These were not pictures of animals or tribal symbols. They were simple parallel lines and small crosses cut into his lower spine, right knee, and ankles. X-rays revealed Ötzi suffered from severe osteoarthrosis in his spine and degeneration in his knees. The tattoos on his body were located precisely over anatomical pressure points used in modern acupuncture for joint pain relief. Even more shocking, scientists analyzed the pigment and found soot mixed with powdered bracken fern, a plant known for anti-inflammatory properties. Ötzi's tattoos were not art. They were the world's oldest recorded medical prescriptions. Long before pharmacies existed, prehistoric healers used tattoos for targeted pain management. Piercing the skin over damaged joints and rubbing medicinal soot into wounds triggered two powerful reactions: a surge of pain-killing endorphins and an immune response that reduced chronic inflammation. Tattoos were the original living medicine cabinet, permanently etched into human skin. Beyond medicine and immune flexing, tattoos solved another critical crisis: identity in a lawless world. Imagine living 70,000 years ago. No passports, no driver's licenses, no national flags, and no written language. You are tracking game through a dense forest, when suddenly, out of the brush, steps a tall stranger carrying an obsidian spear. In a fraction of a second, your brain must decide. Is this stranger a friendly ally, a trading partner, or a hostile enemy who will cave your skull in? Tattoos were the very first universal code, a visual language written on the body that could be read from 30 yards away. Geometric patterns and facial markings revealed your tribe, your lineage, your social standing, how many successful hunts you had led, and whether you were protected by the shamans of the Bear Clan. In Siberia's Altai Mountains, archaeologists unearthed the 2,500-year-old frozen mummy of the Prehistoric Ice Maiden. Her arms were adorned with intricate tattoos of mythical deer with ram horns and winged panthers. These were spiritual armor and status badges, signaling exactly who she was. And there was another secret hidden in the pain of tattooing: group cohesion. Evolutionary psychologists know that shared, painful rituals bind human groups together. When young hunters sat around the fire and endured hours of excruciating tattooing, their brains flooded with oxytocin and endorphins. That shared trauma forged an intense bond of trust. In the brutal Pleistocene world, a solo human was a dead human. You needed a tribe that would bleed for you and share food during winter blizzards. Tattoos were physical proof that you had paid your dues and were bound to the group by blood and ink. The tools used were marvels of Stone Age engineering. Archaeologists have found prehistoric tattooing kits containing sharpened turkey bones, cactus thorns, obsidian flakes, and stone pestles for grinding charcoal and ochre. In North America, researchers identified bone needles from Tennessee dating back nearly 4,000 years, complete with micro-wear patterns matching skin puncturing and soot pigment lodged in the bone pores. Every single prick of the needle was a calculated act of courage. Our ancestors did not have topical numbing creams or sterilized bandages. They had resilience, grit, and an instinctual drive to communicate who they were. Tattooing is one of our most defining evolutionary traits. No other animal decorates its skin. Wolves do not paint their fur. Lions do not etch symbols into their hides. We are the only creatures on Earth that look at our own bodies not as a fixed biological shell, but as a canvas waiting to be transformed. It started in dark caves with a sharp bone and wood ash. It evolved into medicine, spiritual armor, social hierarchy, and the ultimate test of human endurance. The next time you see a tattoo, remember the long line of ancestors behind you. You are carrying forward a 40,000-year-old tradition of survival, identity, and defiance against mortality. We bled, we endured the fever, we marked our skin, and because of that resilience, we survived. So, what about you? If you lived 5,000 years ago and suffered from chronic back pain, would you let a Stone Age shaman jab medicinal soot into your spine with a sharp bird bone? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, stay curious.